Welcome to Winged Wolf Podcast. This is the podcast where we're going to keep it real and raw. We're going to get down to the nitty gritty, talking about everything that everyone's so scared to say. We're going to bring them onto the table to interview them about religion, about politics, about eating organic, living off the grid, the masculine, the feminine, their needs, their wants, what is lacking in today's society, this dating world. How do we create that tribe mentality again to get our families back together, to protect our children? We are going to talk about everything. We're going to travel. We're going to have some fun on this show. So let's get to it. Wing and Will Podcast. Let's rock and roll. Your host, Elizabeth Mooney. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wing and Will Podcast. It's been a bit, so for my return, I had to bring my boy Casey here.
I don't even believe I'm here. I'm tripping on that. So
we were just hanging out a bit before and having some whiskey and talking because we're like the same kind of souls, you know.
This conversation's about life.
Mm-hmm. But Casey here, he's such a special guest. Casey.
Yeah.
Casey, we met how many years ago, would you say?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I remember being at the Palace playing with Pam.
Mm-hmm.
And you and Joe were out there dancing.
Joe Hobbs.
Yeah, Joe Hobbs.
Oh.
I don't know when that was.
Yeah. It's probably, I don't know, like 2-3 years ago now. But Casey, he's so talented. He's going to tell you all about where he's from, who he is. But I had to get him on the show, especially that I haven't recorded in a while. I moved back officially to Nashville, so it just took me time to just get settled. And I wanted Casey to be here with my return because he is a friend and he's talented and he has stories. Like, we connect and he's so special. So I'm so happy to have you on the show, Casey. So thank you.
It's cool to be here. I've been watching your new podcast stuff. So I've reached out. I'm like, man, what are you doing? What's up with this?
Casey, I told him about my songs I'm writing. So there's so much fun stuff that we're here in Nashville doing. So Casey plays at Nashville Palace right here. But also, who do you play keys for?
Pam Miller.
Here at Nashville Palace.
At the Palace. And then abroad, I play with Winona.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in that world for a few years, since about 2005-ish.
Wow.
I've been in the Judd camp. And the Judd camp doesn't necessarily mean that you are exclusively doing this. It just means you're doing all of this.
Yeah.
Everything that's involved in that world. So.
And then you became family, I'm sure.
Oh God, yeah.
2005.
Yeah, we don't want to mess with that too much.
Wow.
Yeah, 20 years.
Wow, 20 years.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Like, to play with the Judds for 20 years but more importantly, what is the journey on you getting there? Like, how did you land that?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You want me to tell you based on one question? You know, actually, I can attempt to answer that. 1999, I had an experience in my life that was very tragic. And I had a brother that was living in Nashville at the time. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey, man, would you mind if I just kind of hang out for a minute?
You need a change of scenery.
I did. Mm-hmm. A reset, if possible. And that's how I got exposed to Nashville. So.
And then what happened?
Well, you digging.
It is my job.
I was here, and I've always had music was always my thing. Mm-hmm. But I didn't come to Nashville for music. I came because of loss. I lost my 10-year-old son.
Which Casey just told me right before this.
And so I just needed to get away. And my brother, Daryl, he lived here, and I was like, dude, would you mind if I just can hang out with you and your wife for a little bit, just to kind of regroup, reset, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, man, come stay as long as you want to. To make a long story short, he left, and I'm just like, was crazy. I mean, it was like, wow. Everything was happening in fast motion. He left, went to California, and for me, Nashville felt like a second chance.
Right.
So
something felt right.
It did. It felt right. That was 99. I went back home to Virginia Beach, and then I decided, after thinking about it, it was like, I think I want to explore Nashville a little bit more. And I came back, and I never left.
So it's very similar to me. How I left this past year traveling, and then I'm like, no, I belong in Nashville. I think us being creative and have so much to delve in and to express and to help others, which is part of the podcast, which is also part of why I have Casey on, because Casey has a story. Just like I've told you, everyone that's come on here has been through it to get to it. It's not just glitz and glamour. We all have walked through the fire and some, to get to where we are and to help others, inspire others through it. But yeah, I think here it's like you kind of felt your outlet where I could create, I could find my rhythm here. This makes sense. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I like how you frame that. At some point in life, things happen, and you don't have any answers. I mean, you just kind of like, you're frazzled. You don't know anything, and that's kind of it's a very vulnerable place to be in. And I resisted that place as much as possible, and I actually finally just kind of I succumbed to it.
In
It's
a
like,
state of flow.
yeah, just to flow with it.
Yes.
And
that takes
Liz,
time
that's
to get there.
Liz, that's a big word. Just to flow with it.
Mm.
And some people might look at it like, well, that's guru talk. No, to flow with life.
Yes.
And to let it be, man, that is
peaceful, because when you try to control, it's anxiety, stress. When you flow and you let be, because that's really because you've been through, and of what we talked about before this. But when you've gone through so much in life, and like you're like, okay, if I get this, I'll be happy. If I do this, I'll be happy. Or things that happen, you realize none of that works out. When you're like, okay, I surrender to what my path is, and I don't know what my path is, but when I'm in a state of flow, there's some relaxation that comes over your body, and every day it's a blessing, and you see what's in store for you.
That's interesting. You know what I call that, Liz? I call that the gift of letting go.
That's what you said earlier.
Man,
you said that earlier.
Give that to yourself. You cannot give that to anyone outside of you until you live it within first.
Yes.
And honey, I am in a place of that right now, in the right nowness.
Yeah, you said that. That's one of the first things you said to me when I saw you.
Man, it's a real place.
Yeah.
Because
you're shedding.
And you're shifting. And the shift doesn't always come with an understanding. It's like you know that you're in the throes of, but you don't really understand it. And to try to get others to understand it.
We can't get others if you don't understand it, right? So all we know is we're living it. So I know, like, we're so deep, and Casey and I are really deep. So what we're basically trying to say to you is, like, when you go through trauma experiences, and we're gonna talk about both. We're gonna go back to the music, but when you do go through, like, your dark night of the soul, right? So when you go through a traumatic experience, that is when your ego dies, and you then are flooded with humility. So humility is really important, especially with what we do, because we have a voice and a stance to help others, right? So if you look at music that's out there right now, like Taylor Swift and all the crap that's out there, that's all like devil music, right? When you have a voice and you actually want to bring light and heal people, it is good when you do go through your own path of walking through the fire, because then your voice can help others to show people and direct them in a more aligned with God in the path. And then through you, so now Casey plays with the Judds. If you don't know the Judds, like, you need to do your research.
Well, it's Winona. There's no more Judds.
Yeah, but you played with the Judds starting out, and now it's Winona. But you know Ashley Judd too, actress.
Yeah.
And you've been with the family 20 years.
I've been with the family for 20 years. I have. Yeah.
Casey's leaving on tour in an hour.
Yeah. I'm like, there's a bus.
No, that's not the bus. That's not your bus.
Oh my God!
But no,
I almost thought that was our bus. I'm like, what?
They're coming literally door service right now to get you.
That is crazy.
You had the podcast, Casey. Come on. So yeah, Casey's going on tour until September. You said
September the 13th. We're leaving tonight, and I don't know what this is, because this long of a tour. This is a young man's game. I don't feel as young as I used to.
You so got it.
Oh, whatever. But this is good. I stumbled on your podcast, and the thing that I find to be interesting with you is people can very easily perceive that you would probably be this or that. I listened because I wanted to hear something different, if possible. It could have been the same old. And when I watched, and what's the name of your podcast?
Wing and Wolf.
Wing and Wolf.
Mm-hmm. Divine masculine and feminine.
Okay, so you're already deep. So you in some deep stuff already. So, but I was listening for something that was like, okay, so what is this? And listening to your podcast, I'm like, I think I kind of get a gist of where she's going, which is just, let's just be real and raw about life. And that is something that I feel like people, we just, some people run to it and some avoid it by all costs. Mm-hmm. So for me, my depiction of that is how I'm the guy that's running to it. And in my mind, I'm running to it. But I recognize that there are those that have a different perception about what life is and what it's not.
Right.
It's not about just the lights, camera, and glitter. I love the Judd world and what it's brought in my life. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I love it. Yeah. I love it all to pieces. But it's not the whole of my life. It brings,
it's a blessing.
It's a blessing, and then it brings the other. Mm-hmm. The other is people perceive you to be something. People want to attach to you. the realness of love, the foundation of loving something or someone comes from you loving yourself first.
Yes. Yeah.
If you don't have the foundation of that first, how can you say? So for me, it's hard for me to accept. I can't accept. It's not hard. I can't accept you telling me I love you if the premise of that love doesn't start with you first.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
So,
and that's why I've seen in my past relationships, I can't even tell you anyone that really loved themselves. They all were so, I'm not saying all, but a lot of it's derived by ego. So, and I would say, I'm like, you don't love me. There's no way you love me because you don't see me.
and they can't see you if they don't see themselves first. Liz, and look, here's the deal. I'm not trying to make it cliche. I promise you, I'm not trying to make it cliche. I think love has been so bastardized, so wronged, so misguided. Love is negating yourself for that of someone else. Liz, that's not love.
No, that's a need.
It's every and anything but love.
Right.
How can I love me? How can I love you if I don't have a sense of loving myself? How I experience myself loving you has all to do with how I'm able to love you. If I can't love me, I can't love you. So we have relationships based on I love you more than I love myself without an awareness.
Or I love the way you make me feel. So it's attached to something.
It's the idea of loving someone versus the reality of the person that you're loving.
Mm.
The idea, well, Liz, gorgeous dancer, she's successful. The idea of loving you is great. But the reality of loving you is something totally different.
Without a doubt.
And the reality is the thing that it seems that most people negate.
Yeah.
Because I want to buy into the idea of us being together and not the reality of, well, my accusation towards you is something that I'm actually guilty of, but I'm not focused.
I love it. You're so right. It's so funny. Casey's like kind of like flipping this on me.
I'm not trying to.
No, I'm kind of
saying.
enjoying this. I'm supposed to be interviewing him, but he's flipping on me. But he is the only one in that seat that would do that to me. So I love that. You are the only one that would flip the script on me, and I love it.
I love that you have offered a platform for people to talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Liz, we don't know how to have real conversations. I'm including myself in on that.
Mm.
Well, and then it's, well, I can't because of this person's whatever.
Well, that's what I said to you earlier. Like, me having this podcast, me writing the book, and now these songs, it's really tapping into my inner self and who I am, where the whole time it was just like Liz, this dancer and brand and, you know, and just that. But there's so much more, and that relates to also what you just said, the persona of like, oh, I love her for that, but who am I? I am this deep, deep, deep soul. And, you know, and I'm not for everyone. It's going to require another deep soul, you know, and I have that new song, The Magical Woman. And that's what it's all about. And Casey, you're the same way. You're the same exact way.
You know, Liz, here's what I have. Here's where I am in my life. I know where I am. I know who I perceive that I am as a person.
Mm-hmm.
But I also understand that other people perceive, and their perception of me is what it is. So
Can't change that.
I'm not interested for myself to try to force my perception on someone else.
Yeah.
So the the challenge of life for me, Liz, it's how do I live authentically in a life where other people have other parameters, other ways of viewing me, of viewing life, viewing whatever. Can I be organic and being who I am around other folks that have a whole different thing? That's the challenge.
My honest answer is no. Yeah.
You
So
can, but it offers a challenge. Right?
So this is where this comes, right? You can, and that's what I'm doing right now. But it comes with risk. It comes with risk. It's risking
and
it's
consequence.
Risking, yeah, it comes with consequence and risk. But for me, I feel my dance, everything I've done already has so much purpose and changed people's life. But then this next step, I see the purpose bigger than the risk. So I don't care. But it came with it. It took a minute. It took a minute for me to release my
slow
book.
down. Slow down. You got to slow down. I saw the purpose bigger than the risk. That's big. That's 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 what people call black sheep type. I call that individuality. You, you're becoming. You are accepting. This is the me. This is where I am, not just where I am. This is who I am. I am here. And the contrast is others that still buy into the matrix, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And that is the challenge of our lives. My truth may not be your truth. My truth is, it's internal. It's like, this is where I am. But based on the relationships around you, they perceive it to be, and it's not discrediting what they perceive. Mm-mm. This is where they are. So where do you find the balance? That is, girlfriend, that is
it's because
my ideal.
You walking through the line of pain and sovereignty. So when you walk through that line, I don't think anyone has an answer, because where you're going through, I go through, everyone. I don't think anyone really has an answer. We just do the best we can each day. It's like, the tasks you have to do in your everyday life, but then all of a sudden, what I said to you earlier, I'm like, it's getting that much harder to go out at night, because like what you feel in the energy and whatnot. But it's like but then I think what makes it more where you're not alone is when I have a conversation with you. I have a conversation with others who are like, then it's like, okay, we're in this together. And just like people listening who are, I know this is really deep, but so you have Casey, who plays for Winona and has played for the Judds, and he's so super talented. And here he plays for Pam Miller and Nashville Palace. And but why Casey's on the show is because the whole point of what Casey's saying is there's layers behind everyone. Some, some deeper than others, but we all are here to be, I would think, our highest good and to find peace and love and know that we're in this together. And to those that are inspiring to be musicians or anything that they're aspiring to do, Casey, so just give them like a background, like a little boy, where did you grow up?
Well, I grew up in a little small town, Newport News, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually the same town that you may not be familiar with these guys. They're called the Wooten Brothers. Mm-hmm. And they're here in Nashville, kind of a jazz type. Victor Wooten is probably one of the most prestigious bass players of the world today. Oh. And I grew up in his town and grew up listening. So my my musical conditioning had a lot to do with that. And
so that's where it started?
Bruce Hornsby was in my neck of the woods.
Did your family play?
I'm the youngest of 5 brothers.
Wow.
And my mother was a singer, my dad was a drummer.
So you found.
And so, yeah, I did. I came from a very musical family. And yeah, so that's kind of my musical, but, just living life, going through life, I discovered that the compositions of my life, of my musicality, wasn't just music. It was the experiences. It was the loss. It was the not so great relationships. It was,
which are also losses when they don't work out.
Yeah. So it was all of life that became my music, and I just kind of ran with that. And here I am today.
That's so. Whether it was because so as a little boy you felt so deeply. So then it went into your music because that was your way to express that, like me with dance. And why did you pick the keys?
I didn't pick the keys. The keys picked me.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So what happened?
I started playing saxophone, and then I went to drums. Actually, I started drums first, saxophone, bass, then keys. And I felt like those were the core instruments to a foundation. If you want to build something, you build it on that first. Not sax, but bass, drums, keys.
Yeah. Well, the piano, in Music City Bar and Grill, Joey, he said to me, he plays for Alan Jackson.
Yeah.
I was talking about Dad.
Joe's badass.
Yeah. So he goes, well, keys is your foundation. So like ballet and dance. It's like, how interesting. So it's if Dad could eventually.
I agree, because I think keys is connected to dance. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As if I know anything about dancing. But in my world of like churchdom, they have what they call praise dancing. And it was basically a dancer that was following the musicality.
Yeah.
Of the guitar, of the keyboard. So it's the same thing.
Yeah. And that's why I feel like as a dancer here in Nashville, my musician friends, I've said it in the other podcast too, just like, there's just such a bond because we really do go.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need them to dance. And then for them, it's more energetically thriving when people are dancing.
Yeah, because if we are real passionate in the moment of what we're doing, then your interpretation follows.
Oh, yeah.
So it to me that makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm. So the Keys came from a music family, born in Virginia, and then anything else you want to tell them or any advice for people that are watching?
Probably the one question I get all the time is, how do you do this in Nashville? And I do not have a phone. For me, it's be true to you. And notice I said be. I didn't say do. Well, just do Liz. Don't do Liz. It's not just about doing Liz. It's being you.
Mm-hmm.
Be you. And in your being, the doing will follow. There's so many great keyboard players and piano players and all this kind of stuff in Nashville, man. Because I'm the most badass, and they hired me for that. No, they did not. That
Who did you meet?
I met Naomi's husband first.
Where?
Um, in Mount Juliet.
That's where I was living. Where?
A friend of mine that was a photographer. He was like, "Hey, I got this group over here," and Naomi's husband had a gospel group, and he said, "I got this group. They need a keyboard player."
Oh,
Just
interesting.
and he was like, "Get over here, just." And I came, and Larry was like, "Hey, can you come over? We have a rehearsal tonight." Blah 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 blah. And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I showed up, and there was this person came in to this rehearsal hall that we were in on Larry's property, and she just touched me on the back and said, "Welcome to the family." I didn't look at her. I was focused on these people wanting to potentially hire me, and I just need to be on my A game. And at the end of the night, he said, "Did you notice who that was that said something to you?" And I said, "No, I didn't. I was trying to figure out this music." He said, "You didn't see her?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, what did she say to you?" I said, "She said, 'Welcome to the family.'" He said, "Well, the job's yours." And I'm like, "What job?" I mean, it was Liz. It was like boom, 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 boom. I didn't know what the hell was going on. And he said, "Well, the job's yours." And then he's like, "You really don't know who that was?" I didn't see her. He said, "That was Naomi Judd." And I'm like, "Okay." And the rest of the band and the singers, they're looking at me like, waiting for a reaction. And I didn't have a reaction. Okay. He's like, do you know? This is Larry, my husband.
Yeah.
"Do you know who Naomi Judd is?" I was like, no, not really. So they're snickling now, the band, the singers. And I'm feeling real stupid. Like, I am an imbecile. I don't know what the hell is going on. And he said that, well, she's a part of the group called the Judds.
She's the mama of the
And I'm just like, okay. And do you know who they are? And I'm like, no, not really. I don't. And now it's starting to come. And I'm like, the redhead girls? He said, yeah. And I was like, no way, dude, get out of here, man. He said, no, that's my wife. And then it was a game changer.
Wow. So how long were you in Nashville before that happened?
99.
Wow. How long?
1999. That was 2005.
Okay.
And
so what were you doing in that time from 99 to then?
You know what? I actually took a job at Burlington Coat Factory.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do anything but music. And I was afraid of music because
That shows you right there.
Music for me.
I love that you came here and beautiful.
With what my experience was with losing my first son, I knew that music would open me up. I didn't
So
want
you
this.
went through the tragedy, which was so tragic, that story, and then you needed to escape, so you came here, was with your brother, just knew you needed to get away.
Yep.
Took a job, stepped away from music,
Totally different.
and you were doing that for a while, and then years down the line, this opportunity rolls up, and then
Well,
here you go with them.
here I am working at Burlington Coat Factory, and next door is Mars Music.
So you can't get away. Because you were meant to get away. And here you are 20 years in the family. It's beautiful. Like it comes from the tragedy of loss of your son, who's so, I can't even imagine, 10 years old. And then here you are. And then more things have developed on that journey as well. Like we have spoken
Because
about.
I lost my 19-year-old son in 2017. So, Liz, here's the thing. I share that more privately than publicly.
Right. I didn't know that. So
this is a very public deal, and I'm sharing it because I respect what you're doing. You're daring, basically, in my mind, you're daring to just explore you. You're daring to be you, daring to do what's in your heart. And it's like, you know what? I support that. Anyone that dares to do that, I am 100% on board. I just am. Because if we listen to the naysayers or listen to the negativity, well, Liz, you did this. For me, it's never about what somebody else did. Where I take life is, here's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I am accountable for, what I'm responsible for. I go there first.
Right.
Because it helps me to be able to deal with everybody else outside of me that I know that has done something against me. So the balance of life for me is, I start with me first. It's not beating me up.
Because people have situations that people are like, well, you did this, but really it's just two people that come from different past, different experiences. And it's not someone's right or someone's wrong or any of that, right? I just had this experience with the woman I was going to get the job from. And it wasn't that someone was right or wrong or this and that. It just comes out to like, I felt deep into what I did wrong. I said, what I did wrong was I wanted to be a woman of my word because I am. And I really stand so strongly about that I take it to my grave even when it's not suitable anymore because life situations change.
Sure.
Where I learned in that lesson, like, Liz, your word, you don't have to take it where like it's now like it's not suitable for anyone anymore because your situation changed. Sometimes you have to be like, you know what, I have decided this doesn't work anymore, and that's okay. But it took me this situation to realize that. And like what you're saying, Casey, we're having you on, like I have this platform because we don't get, like you said to me, you're like, who do you really get to talk to like deep and open like this? I'm like, it took me time to think, and Casey's like pretty much no one. And it's like I wanted this platform. So not I wanted to have a platform for people to talk, and people like you and other people on this, that they could talk about their stories and what they've been through, because you guys are successful, but you're beautiful people. You're accomplished and you give so much. So it wasn't just a walk in the park to get here. You know, some people's lives maybe, but my friends that I have met have not, and they play for, you know, the Judds, Shenandoah, Alan Jackson, all these different people, but they have walked through it, and that's why you're here. And I want a platform to put that out there and not
walk through and still walking through.
Yeah, and same. So so I have Casey here. I know Casey has to catch the bus, but I wanted you to meet him. I've been wanting Casey on because we've been talking about this. I wanted to launch it back where I'm back with the podcast. So this episode has a lot of depth to it. And I hope you enjoy it. We might have to do
another one to explain some of the stuff that we've been talking about.
I think we should play some songs too, and we get deep. If you guys want to really get deep with us and talk, and we explore different things. So, any other advice you want to give to anyone that's young, aspiring musicians?
You know what I would say? Pursue being you. And I'm not trying to make it cliche. Don't do you. Be you. Write and play. Dance.
Mm-hmm.
From
your soul.
Right here.
Yeah. From your soul.
That's the difference.
Mm-hmm. And just be in a state of flow and receive. So my guest, my friend, Casey, we're going to break out that whiskey. We're hiding it. Go get that whiskey. It's right behind your chair.
Ain't no whiskey. We're drinking prune juice.
Go get it. Wing and Will Podcast, your host, Elizabeth Mooney.
Again, Wing and Wolf.